I left the big things, took only the small, the precious.
This has very much been kind of collaborative to the fullest extent of the word. I needed to step out of my comfort zone and learn about how Greek theatre makers approach making theatre and how German theatre makers approach making theatre. And with the team, trying to eke out the best narratives that fit within this web of stories that is Phone Home.
You're deciding the way, with words, with dance. Be creative and...
The terrible thing to say, be creative.
You can say, be free. Just don't put limits. First task is to have a teamwork. Second task is the journey of something. And then we need to have a connection in a way.
The point from which we started here in Munich was, on the premises here is an accommodation for unaccompanied underage refugees. We thought, well, obviously we start at our doorstep and invite people who are here to join us. The fundamental thought about the workshops was, first of all, to create a space which is free, which is safe. We did not speak each other's language, but had to find a way to communicate without words.
With the Freedom from Torture workshops, we promised that we wouldn't talk about country of origin, because obviously that's associated with some very traumatic things for people. And with Action for Refugees in Lewisham and Kingston workshops, we were dealing with, 8-year-old kids. And then our third partnership was with a group of lesbian and gay asylum seekers in the city of Birmingham. Of all the workshops that we've done, that was the one that's really stuck with me the most. It's partly because we were dealing with adults, so we were able to form a deeper relationship with people, and also because of what people wanted to talk about. Mention the name of the president and someone assumes that you're saying something negative, living under a regime that you just never want to go back to. But all these people, just to bring us back to why this is Phone Home, I feel very honoured that we're here.
We've tried to contact some structures in Athens that had the experience of working with immigrants and refugees. There's a team in Athens who is working with refugees, Synergio. When we started thinking on the topic, the reality was not so crucial. A lot of families are sending their child in Athens just to have the right to send a mother or the father. Nobody wanted to remember his story. They were there just to play and forget the past.
The children, they just came like a week ago or 2 weeks ago or 1 day ago.
In moving forward with the whole project and theme, immediately there came a certain common language. And it wasn't that difficult to establish a common humor, and I think it's a really nice experience.
Food is home for you. Liverwurst.
Yeah.
Right.
If you're not used to the community is ostracised.
Your sentimentality and holding on to something.
We've been part of the European Union since the 50s. It's possible that we might not be by the end of this year.
Those things that make you feel like you're at home or you're amongst the people from your home.
I want to walk down my street and hear my language, and they're just talking in front of me. We're not allowing them to integrate.
If you're the child of Palestinian parents living in Lebanon, is there a point where you start to become Lebanese?
His name was Osama, and he was from Syria, and he was in Germany for 1.5 years. He actually spoke German very well. He said, "I want to be German. Look at me. Don't I look like a German?"
Never hang out in Greece, but you immediately go like, "Hi, yeah, you're free."
That music, like that connects us together, or that piece of food, that's going to connect us together. I think that's what home becomes now.
Humour, a big part of you gets lost if you can't be funny. Being ironic, the pre-Alps, German landscapes, the sea, log fires and snow, shoulder to lean on, safety, a new beginning. We can choose to go back or not.
An old house where many generations already lived in, and it's kind of given to the next generation.
Home is kind of inner freedom.
Something that you construct, especially if you're displaced or you've moved or travelled.
Take this one step further, stories touching the topic of home, and that we could develop into something in the play. We would like to present story building blocks.
Trying to jump on the undercarriage of a lorry in Calais, trying to get to England.
Sorry, please, a little bit slower.
Of course. Sorry.
This is really fast.
Celebrities pose in survival blankets to try and raise money for refugees and take photos of themselves. Are they promoting themselves or are they helping the cause? A trafficker is forced as a punishment to look at corpses of children who died on the journeys. A photo studio in Athens has a fake living room where people dress up like they found their perfect home and everything is fine. A married couple, one of them is British, one of them is not British. They can only live out their relationship on Skype because in Britain you can only bring your spouse to the country if you earn more than £18,600 a year.
It's now 35 actually.
So that's about 40,000 €. Yeah. Rather than thinking about how we'll tell a story, it's about what the content is.
You have this very transitory kind of existence, and so they're not able to really, I guess, make a place.
And she was in a blacklist because she had tried.
Yeah, so she could travel.
No, I mean, a couple of things about the countries that we suggest, I think she would just run.
I feel like this is a way of integrating the content and the form.
Someone who's selling it.
Oh, okay.
The IKEA shop assistant comes on and says, you can't live here.
Could I just come here in my bathrobe and pretend I'm the one who lives there? Which kind of reflects back to the situation if he rents a place for half an hour to Skype with his parents.
How to describe home to the other person.
If you have a shared memory, how those memories can differ.
Was there a dress code for the director today?
Yeah, we swapped emails. What we are working on now is an idea of how stories can connect by saying a message has to travel.
If we decide that Jane wants to deliver a message to Simon, I have to be the connection.
On a story of something.
A journey of something.
Of a journey of something. You know, my English is it's fluent. So, and when I'm stressed, I'm speaking more fluent.
On the screen in that room I am, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Only on the small screen of the tablet, actually.
Okay.
Andreas, as someone having some experience, he's done a show with Skype connection before.
It doesn't mean that I'm really smart.
Go.
Why do we have to create groups from the beginning?
How do we know who we're going to work with?
All together.
Ah.
You are creating a story from the beginning when you're making two groups.
Yeah, I
you're
think we're
putting
just
limits.
for some guidance about how the process works.
I don't understand why we not.
Me neither. Let's do
We're
something.
just starting something.
Yeah, but I would like to start on my own. I'd like to find a group, but they don't
communication. So languages is really interesting. How we use space together is really interesting. Non-verbal communication is really interesting. When things get confused is really interesting. All of it is the project. All of it. All of this is the process.
Yes, and we just watch what happens.
Here, I don't know if I want to do this.
Can they see us?
Yeah.
Maybe it is about what we want to show.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a process of developing material.
We have to show something.
And everyone started copying me.
Because we were still playing again.
So suddenly the group goes.
We didn't know the rules. We didn't know the message. How do you communicate a message you don't know or understand?
It was always a polite offer of you could do it like this, and everybody says, yes, you could do it like this.
It was like you were still with us, and you were sort of large on the screen. We didn't know if you could hear us, so we were just like, can you hear us?
There was a real moment of disconnection because you were really going like, can you hear us? Angelica,
The most moving thing that happened was this idea that you could just be sending messages out in the world and having no idea if there was someone on the other side.
Where the connection falters is joyous.
I could feel your joy when you finally found the third row, even though I didn't hear what you were saying.
your face is like the screen name to see something, but it could turn.
It really looked like a propaganda image to me. It really looked
The
like.
moment you are concentrated on the virtual space, you lose the space here.
Only two.
You think you're
It's
not
a
in charge
weird-
anymore.
Yeah.
There's two screens, you're in charge.
Three of us
Sitting
sat
watching.
when we knew the message was coming.
Yeah.
There we all were, watching and waiting and interpreting.
It's exciting to think that at the end of this process everyone's going to splinter off and do their own work, but that feels like there's a growing common foundation for that work.
That you communicated just with the placards and your proximity to the camera screen.
Yeah.
There's things like that I go, okay, of course, there's like a post-it note that could work without any dialogue because there's about this relationship between you guys.
The screen will be stronger than what is going on in real life. We will look at the screen.
Yeah,
That's a challenge.
That's what we're going to do. I wish I'd been able to both go on the journey with you guys and stay with you, Marilia, and watch.
It's a parallel reality. Your image, what's behind you, what you cannot see. There's so many possibilities when you are looking in a camera.
We all come from very different backgrounds. We all have very different expectations. There is going to be some crunches or some, it's not always going to be like this. Yeah?
I think it's particularly interesting to work with the obstacles. It seems so clumsy also to use this high-tech media, and it's getting also part of the topic, like all the things that don't work. Yeah, we started.
Wir machen jetzt den dritten Raum. Ja?
So in the end we had the whole setup made, 6 screens and 6 beamers and 6 tablets.
It's like testing this under theater conditions.
It's important to work with the technology and not bring it into late because it's too bad. It's not good enough to just say, okay, now put it on the screen.
Yes. When we made the plan for this week, I said, well, the stories have to come first, and I agreed. So in that moment, it was clear for me we were going to concentrate now on the stories and not on the suggestion that I have made for the setup.
What is your suggestion? To make some conferences with no sound?
No, but
of course
I mean,
not.
there's so many different
Of course.
possibilities.
So if it's not your suggestion, why are we wasting the time?
We are not
trying that.
It was very important for the others to check out the situation, I think.
For the actors?
Yes, indeed, very much so. How many of them have been able clearly to visualize what is going to be? There's a big difference between like talking about this stuff and actually kind of
But
experiencing
also
it.
between making a phone call, which we can do, we can also make this phone call with the sound, it's okay, but having the Skype connection to film a whole room and performers who want to feel each other in the other room and this room and interact.
Of course, I know
and
that.
then you need so much better sound than for a simple phone call.
Yes.
This is where the problem starts. It's not the phone call. We can make the phone call.
Our intention towards our audience is to convince them of the threat of vampires. In our metaphor, refugees, so you'd have your Nigel Farage character going, let's go out with stakes, and then you'd have your Jeremy Corbyn character going, we need to understand the vampires before we can say that they're terrorists.
What if that vote is given to the celebrities?
Charlize Theron is Charlize when she's among French celebrities on the gala. They didn't talk about the refugee problem. They just did the gala wearing blankets.
How do we participate in these world events and these world crises? We're so far removed from it. The remediation of the events is now, thanks to technology, so fast. It's like I'm there, but I'm not.
Ein Telefonstreich. Also jemand, der... That's a great word.
Telefonstreich.
Yeah, sounds like what it is. The technical aspect of connecting our 3 spaces is a little frightening, really. We have 3 working hypotheses now in which the stories might be connected to each other. The first is to have a kind of mosaic that is connected by topic, as it were, not so much by a singular item or a singular plot. So the second working hypothesis is emergency call, an object that travels. Yanis found this newspaper article where life jackets are left on the beach with emergency numbers, messages like, this is my son, please help him if I'm not here. The third working hypothesis is a poem.
Ideas for telling the same stories will come in, and that will come from the company as much as it will come from us.
Be one language or each country own language? I mean,
there's no decision about that yet. We've talked about the topic, there's pros and cons. If we want everybody to understand, we, in the first place, need to speak English here.
it's not common that we do shows in other languages if we are Greek. Or is it
It's the same
something
in
that
Germany that here people are put off if they know the show is in English.
Yeah.
We're aware of those questions. I also really like the idea of a scene where everyone's talking different languages.
No, we're about to. Do you want to be in it?
It's totally stacked it. I like caught air.
I was in the middle of saying we're so inept at the point that you stacked it. Does anybody have a stick? And why not? This room, Simon, Alexia, Antonia, Emma, Melda. In room 2, Nadi, Jenny, Andreas, Rochi, Angelica.
Can we start or what's up?
Let's do it. Follow the progress of the whole conference from the tablet here in the comfort of the sofa. On day 1, the delegates discussed.
We had a slight disconnection there. I'm just going to clarify. Item 1 of the agenda is to discuss what it is that they want.
And I think it's unfair to characterise all of them that way.
The messages in this rhetoric are very disturbing.
Everyone is now asleep, and the spy chooses someone whose identity they want to know. Everyone awakes, apart from Andreas, who has been murdered in the night.
One of them among us. They are travelling in swarms. It was only a matter of time.
Rochi has been identified as one of them.
Oh, yeah.
How do you spot one? How do you spot one?
How do you spot one?
All of them should be eradicated because they're murderers. If we're the murderers, this makes sense.
This is a setup.
Choose the next victim.
The answer is yes. Except from the delegate for the. Oh, sorry, what have we done? You're dead, Antonia, so you can go upstairs. Yeah.
And the scream?
Missed it. Sorry, I disconnected the call by mistake. You can scream when you get in there. Straight to accusations, please.
Okay. What? I think it's Melda. Why me? They say I'm pale. I'm not pale. Me too. Are you one of them? No, of course not.
Why are you laughing?
You like to drink Bloody Mary?
I like.
Do you take a stake?
Thank you, delegates. We're about to do the vote. And the last remaining one of them was killed.
The cooperative aspect of this was for me very important.
Something that's really present and really important in the moment, and the game has a way of delivering that because it's like you win, you lose.
It's got its own stakes.
Something goes really quiet. On screen, sort of seems to be even stronger.
Even more
Really
quiet.
like a close-up in a movie, so you can identify very much to the people. So if there are 3 people, it's quite difficult.
How do you use that image to move into a different
Scene.
a new story?
Yeah, that's
What do they
interesting.
become?
Yes.
People will be talking. There's a performer, and then there's people on a sofa being filmed, and there's a massive wheelie screen that can come in, and it's projecting this image, but on this massive. So people would come in and have live interactions.
Like the whole point of this being a show about communication, what's the story that we're telling? It worked really well in this thing tonight.
Thank you, every one of you, for your professional approach on this and your patience, enduring the tension and the insecurity of what is going to happen.
I get very sentimental about producers, but you guys are wicked.
Everyone could have done that EU application, I guess.
It's really easy.
Is there a place where we can have a beer?
Getting to know each other, working out how to communicate with each other, the story elements of what we are going to do and how this might look. This was very successful. The technical realization that we also wanted to try out was a first step, but besides working on joint text for the production, the technical realization of things is going to be the focus of our work now. I'm looking forward to seeing this all in action. I think we are a great group. I'm very sincerely convinced that we are going to work together as a team very smoothly.
Welcome. Nice to see you again.
It is a very complicated performance, so we have to try many things. Today we will read the text in English. Maybe tomorrow we can do it
In Greek.
Maybe we can try 3 separated stages, use the Skype or the phone call to see the problems and the difficulties.
When you're ready.
The project is inspired from refugees' real stories, which will be realized through live streaming between the 3 countries.
Can we just...
So it's unknown. I would like to discover it.
Coming back. So at home is this thing about separation and losing and leaving the loved ones behind. And this is where we begin for me. And a lot of it is in the unsaid, but the loss is still there.
People right now in Greece, in Germany and in the UK are facing some form of forcible removal.
Yeah, so my mum's just been sent back to Egypt maybe 5 days ago for that reason, so that they can reanalyze her. Yeah, genuinely. And they have to give her like English exams, and my dad has to prove his bank accounts, families get divided.
It starts separated, and then in the second part it is connected. Woman 2, Steffi, woman 1.
Okay, ωραία. Αλλά ό,τι έχει 3 είναι το 2.
Ναι, μωρέ, δεν έχει αλλού. Μόνο αυτό είναι.
We are short of blankets.
Ordered 200, right? To collaborate with 2 different countries and 2 different cultures at that period of European state is something that really intimidates me and makes me want to be part of it. And hopefully Skype will be extra strong the days of the performances. That's the main wish.
That very moment Skype connects. It's the
moment. We only like if you call them blankets.
Good mask for us as well.
On a gala, it's very hard to talk to each other when you're wrapped in these things, because it's really loud.
Classical epic or like rock epic?
Rock epic.
Now, what has happened in London so far in order to Skype over Philip's parents?
I will have liberty of speech and thought.
No, he's coming back to London.
Is he? Oh, that is great news. Really great news.
What? Is there a chance that Maria and Philip could speak in Greek?
Dealer is the right one.
Trafficker.
Trafficker.
Yeah.
Crowding, yelling, crying, trying to get on boats. 7, 8, 11, I fell asleep. A kick in my stomach. You're enjoying it, you animal?
The hatred that he's projecting is a way of justifying what he's doing.
I was completely shocked by myself because I was like, oh my God,
I don't know what
could
to
he change my point of view? How could I feel for somebody like this?
The ultimate goal, isn't it, to create more questions rather than giving answers?
What would you think to have some scenes like the monologues played on one stage and have it projected in the 2 other countries, to also see the performance of the actors from the other cities?
Good morning again.
Good morning.
Number 10 is the colleague center.
That's why everybody becomes gorillas.
And who supports the gorillas?
Mom, it's a war.
You think I don't know it?
Text me, alright?
Yes, baby.
The connection ends. Both cry.
If you had to leave the country tonight, what would you do? It points to our privilege for many people, including many of our audience. Refugees are the other.
Yeah, we have to self-reflect this project in a way. If we don't do this, we're going to miss an important part in this work.
Thank you and goodbye. See you again. There. Pilots that go. There will be no deportees on my flight.
This person was quite civilized and considered it to be just another job and totally splitting off from the consequences of his actions.
I just wondered whether we're interested in those snippets of contextual information.
The question is whether it's more powerful theatrically to just sort of hear the story without context, or whether it's more powerful with.
Came from a news article that we had of a boy who was stuck in the back of a truck. There's a lot that happens kind of across the 3 spaces. After Munich, I was really interested in the stuff that you guys had also done in terms of dance and movement.
In London, the group moves their bodies in unison.
Shh. My wife can't breathe.
Be quiet.
What's wrong? Has something happened at the camp?
The connection is lost.
Hello? Please add an answer.
Stop, okay? Will you listen?
What? What's wrong?
I'm not an adult, I'm 15.
Paramedics on site, additional transportation to the station requested.
The cruelty of the UK system is in its bureaucracy, and in that sense that, yep, we will arrest you because you've entered the country illegally, we'll put you in immigration detention, and you'll be deported.
Let's avoid letting this get personal, please. Now, you have been very quiet, Mother.
A nice sycamore tree, it's very quiet. People are very laid back.
This medal is for my country, Syria. But first, I must reach the shore. The shore is just there. Follow me. Don't be afraid. Do not lose your courage.
Maybe there's something about starting off with some mild comments.
People are acting like they are in a virtual world. They are impolite, they can say what they want.
They're expecting people to laugh at them, but it's the ones that they know are nodding along.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Meine Damen und Herren.
Καλώς ήρθατε, ούτε τα ελληνικά δεν μπορώ να διαβάσω. Καλώς ήρθατε
Okay,
στο καφέ.
everyone set? Everybody set?
You too?
Me too!
Us too! Just crossing borders. Hey, you too?
Do you have a nice trip to Munich?
I had a lovely trip. I went via Athens.
They are there when you're listening.
But they are watching us from there.
And they're watching you from the camera.
Good afternoon, Athens! Good afternoon!
Blankets!
Small technical glitch over here.
Let's summarize how the evening will run, shall we?
With the waves, refugees, cries for help.
We need to see who we're talking to.
Actually, maybe it's the easiest way to have two projections. Miniatures of whom you are talking to or life size. They see one projection and you see another projection.
Was wir jetzt ausprobieren ist, wir stellen uns vor, es wird eine zweite Projektion für euch geben, die einfach über dem Publikum sein wird.
Das ist doch viel schöner, oder? Wenn man gleich sich winken sehen kann. Oder müssen wir wahrscheinlich zwei Beamer nehmen, aber das kriegen wir hin. Wir werden keinen Group Call haben, sondern es werden zwei Skype-Verbindungen sein, zwei einzelne. Damit es Vollscreen für beide Bühnen sozusagen, die wir sehen.
Das heißt aber, dass du sozusagen, das hast du hinten stehen.
Das sind eine zwei hier und müsstest du auch da zwei haben eigentlich, damit du das Bild spiegeln kannst.
The Germans are technically full equipped.
Through the screen of the laptop, there's a team over there.
If we establish the performance reality, first time that the audience will see any of this, it's much
Time
clearer.
again, please, and ask them to speak with their London and Munich branches to send there too.
Better equipped than you are.
Is there a reason why this scene isn't one where we use the Surface tablets? That can be streamed onto the
German thing to
back
say.
wall as well. This afternoon is all about experimentation on this project. It's Yanis's job to talk to me and to Michael. And in this gala, it's one of these people's role to talk to the other places. Go!
We have blankets.
Tell them 30 for both.
May feel like you guys aren't doing very much, but you are, in fact, solving all of our problems. Just jump in, Yanis, if you want. We're seeing 4 or 5 of you on stage, and then, of course, we're seeing everybody else behind. Nadie? Yeah, good. Ramsey, you can come forward a little bit, buddy. I think. Clear as mud? Or clearer?
Clearer than mud, more like pond water.
Nice. I prefer a camera solution to a mobile phone or a tablet. Obviously, this is the realistic thing. This is what always happens when we three Skype. If we take a tablet or a smartphone, we have a split screen. But if we have one camera, we can go via Viacast and still have 2 partners full screen.
I turned the microphone off. Do you want me to turn it on?
Yes.
Now there are olive trees.
Millions of them. We produce all Syrian oil.
Meaning?
That's why they want to take over our village. That's why everybody became gorillas. Hello? Mama? How are you, Mom?
I can't see you in here. Is it okay? I can see you now?
I
don't know.
I can
Not
see
supposed
you.
to be like that.
Okay. I'm sitting on my armchair right now and I'm talking to you.
Oh, nice. Did you find a job?
I did.
Good for you, Eddie.
Taylor, Suhail took me in his work.
Is the money good?
Agheed was saying last week that the others bring in reinforces.
Wait a minute.
Mama, it's a war.
You think I don't know it?
Take care. And when you have a message from Agheed, text me, alright?
Yes, sir.
I love you, Mama.
I love you.
Somehow I like the echo of the voice.
It's probable that they use mobile phones for their internet stuff in Syria rather. We could tackle a more difficult scene, either emergency call or long distance.
Yeah.
I think we should try long distance.
Okay,
long distance
fine.
is the Matterhorn of the show.
Talk with James and Rebecca and Katrin talking technical stuff. We can optimize the setup of cameras for tomorrow, so in the same way that we now did it with the last version.
Have the beamer higher the projector so it's at the same level.
Projector, but yeah, maybe we point it upwards.
Did you see it?
I think so. Okay, go to the last.
I think we wouldn't.
Is the European Union respectful of one another? As we go through the rehearsal periods, that will probably change.
The village council receives a message from the government.
And they have a conversational a little bit like this.
As authorised by Section 12, Paragraph 14 of the Refugee and Asylum Law of 1993.
Sorry, what?
Obviously,
Yeah,
we're
but-
going to extend. Obviously, we're going to extend the hand of welcome to these poor souls.
So, what do we know about these people?
We're going to be talking often in a second language and hearing it over Skype.
That's my best acting.
Just to see if the illusion works. Don't stay there on the text.
Do you really want us to play with the filmic reality?
Yes.
I have to look to them
Yes.
to talk to
Yes.
them, even if there's nobody.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
You're on your right, you're on your left, and you're 10 from
Yeah.
both sides.
Yeah.
Verstanden? Habt ihr euch absichtlich genau so gesetzt? Oder
Ja,
ist
wir
es
sollten uns
Zufall?
jetzt hinsetzen.
Er hatte gesagt 45 Grad.
Nee, nee, ich
Ach so,
meine,
der
dass
Reihenfolge?
Simon rechts neben dir sind. Wenn du, dann würdest du immer
Stimmt,
in
weil
die
dann
Richtung
gucken wir uns immer
sprechen,
so
dann
an,
habt ihr
gell?
nicht das Problem, dass
Ja.
Also,
Es ist eine super Szene, aber wenn ein Dorf irgendwo das Thema, wir müssen das verhandeln.
der ganze Anfang ist Schrott, meiner Meinung nach.
Ja, sicher ist der ganze Anfang
Ersten halb.
Introduction really weakens it. It's the last time when we are together.
We can try that, but can we test this thing?
Yeah, of course.
Great. So, guys, the conversation Angelica and I was just having, I'm not saying this is the scene, this is exactly how we're going to do it, you must say all these lines. Think of this as a technical test and an opportunity to experiment with the text that we have. We're trying to set up, as you can see, one continuous line.
Weeping willow trees and patrolled by brightly coloured ducks.
An old sycamore hangs above a stone fence in the central square.
Of course, everyone in the village is far too polite to think of themselves as rich.
What do we know about these people?
No, they're not asking. It's a legal requirement.
And of course, it's the right thing to do.
We're going to do what any ordinary decent village inhabited by ordinary decent people would do. Is it still working? How long have you been together? You see, he's still not calling. I have to talk to you guys. Das muss ich den Lautsprecher ausmachen.
Oh ja.
Ja, gerne. Wo gehen wir rein?
Nochmal gleiche Stelle.
Okay.
Same place again, but let us try this out. Just technically, call in, please.
So should we hang up and call again?
No, wait a minute. Do I need to make the phone? Yes, she is phone home of 3. Call her and then kill the microphone immediately. Okay. Kill your microphone, please. Thank you.
Hey, sorry, I'm 5 minutes late.
This is quality time, not a race, you know.
Sorry. How was your day, darling?
My client's going to get deported and my boss is all smiling xenophobia. How was yours, darling?
Oh, sorry. It's my parents.
Now?
I got a real job for you, a job that pays your rent.
Philip, don't you think it's time to come home?
Dad, Ma'am, this is Nergis.
He's made of a lot of pixels.
It's the connection.
Guys, sorry, I have to take this call. I will be back in a second, I'm sorry.
Are you kidding me?
How do you like Munich?
I grew up here, it's my home.
So nice to meet you.
Wonderful, you're doing brilliantly. Say stop, you go. I say stop, you go, okay?
Just resigned.
But you
Darling,
love
I'm
your
so
job.
sorry.
What happened?
They were just holding me back. I want to move on.
You're going back to London?
Thank you for listening, son.
I didn't say that.
Just don't think you can come back any time once you've opted out.
We believe there is something to gain if we tell stories together. Okay, we are connecting the three stages in Athens and Munich and London. This was the idea behind the script that you all have.
Might call me to be here, do the technical stuff. We should use that time that we are here to talk about what we want to do.
That's the time for us to work as well. It's not only a matter of actors. The set designers, what will they do? The composer, what will do? We all respect each other, that's why we're here.
We are in a city where it's the birth of democracy. What we are doing here, it's a kind of model situation for Europe.
Perhaps a metaphor for Europe as it is, rather than perhaps Europe as we might like it to be. I hope that this project is establishing relationships that are long-lasting.
We don't have the space to create the text in the rehearsals.
Why?
Because that's what we decided, Angelica.
Who?
The 6 people who are working for a year now.
No, this is not democracy. Thank you very, very much. It's great you did it. But it can't be the whole play like this.
And it won't be. And
sorry, you say it won't be. You say it is.
It's an open performance that everyone will write whatever he wants. We are not talking about Brexit. It's a great issue that happened during the procedure.
Yes.
But we're not going to have a story about Brexit.
Yes, we will.
Sorry, I have to interrupt here. Wait a minute, please. That is what we agreed upon. It's an opportunity where we are going to develop as a scene stuff together, which is why we met before, we discussed topics.
Why can't real life talks not be a part of the project?
Yes, but we're talking a totally different approach.
What approach?
We have collected 37 stories when we came in Munich.
Why not use this opportunity that we have here to be physically present, to have a common starting point, which is the text, and a technological aspect of it. We do agree that there is some common ground.
But what is the point? We could have 3 theatre plays in 3 cities and not be connected.
There's something to be gained from telling stories together in the context of a show about Europe.
It's damn straight. I'm sorry to sound so British. Our job is to put on a show, ultimately. Our job is also to do lots of other things, running workshops with refugees, interviewing people. And that doesn't mean that the people who haven't been involved in those workshops aren't a vital part of this process.
I want to have a real connection. I want to know what is happening inside your head right now. Sorry, I sound German now. And I don't know what is going on in your life right now, but you bring it into this rehearsal. I can feel it.
But this is reflected in the text we wrote. This is why we do theatre, right?
It refers to people leaving home in order to create a new one, of course, in the background of the refugee crisis.
Having this experience, the experience of Munich and everything else behind us, our job now is to find modes of collaboration, to evolve a process and to disseminate that process, but our job is mainly to tell these stories.
Because we need to show an end result.
We have a limited time here as well.
But that's fear talking. I don't like fear. Yeah, we have a limited time and in 3 countries and we have different styles and different experiences.
What if the German team comes to the conclusion we work collectively and we don't want to have a result?
Why have been we talking with Michael all these months? Why not with all of you?
I like the script.
Then what is the problem?
So let me please say something.
I think there is no problem. There is no problem.
Come again. Bits which we in Germany will develop collectively and will probably look different than from what is being done in the UK. It's a bit like what you have written in the Do It Like Charlie's scene. Okay, my expectation is there is no meat, but we have to have meat on this menu. Also, there is some sort of compromise on what we're doing, but still we are individuals here. The connected scenes, there is a script in order to realize the connection.
This connection will be 2-dimensional, but still there will be connection.
Yes,
we can think on beforehand how we can playfully connect with each other in these 3 spaces.
The essence of the piece is that we have this problem and it's going to make us desperate to have this connection and to try to communicate. I think it's an amazing parallel.
Nothing will go according to plan, especially to the actors, but to everyone else. Your creativity, your problem-solving capabilities, your improvisational skills, that's what everyone is bringing to the process. It may be something entirely different.
Excuse me, speak.
I'm so sorry.
Slower,
when I get excited, I speak fast. We need to chaos and confusion throughout the whole thing. We need to embrace.
This is great what we did now.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I agree.
Thanks for raising.
We learn from these things.
Saying thank you.
What is it? It's a way of saying thank you or agreement. We are starting to connect to each other sometime the week after next.
Thank you to the Greek team for hosting us here. Thank you, Marilia, for organizing this.
So many things we've learned this week working together, the different rhythms that we're used to, exchange the experience and the know-how. That is the interesting part of the collaboration, because you're not working alone, you have to work as a team. We have to create that zone that everyone will feel comfortable and productive and free to work with the others. But we have so many things to do the next months.
I can spend time with refugees in my city and listen to their stories.
I can give £2 a month to the UNHCR.
I feel like we're all constantly being reminded that whatever we might do is not enough. Do we want to further that idea, or do we want to challenge that idea?
The inadequacy of it at the same time as actually the legitimacy of it, I think is really important.
God bless her. Did you buy a bed or do you still sleep on the floor?
I did, Mum. Don't worry. €2.
€1.
Thank you.
But still, it's quite immediate to all.
Except Britain.
No, I wouldn't say so.
What do you mean, except Britain?
End of discussion. You've got to smile, pack your stuff, go home, remain professional.
The police need to speak to you.
No, they will send me back.
They want to help, they want to speak to you so they can find you.
Will you call me back?
From Turkey to Greece, I had to compete against myself, my past, my existence.
My parents, they were on the same boat, did not know how to swim.
I kissed them before I fell in the water.
The biggest philanthropy gala ever held in Europe.
I don't think that scene's ever been more successful.
It might be worth making a note of all the words, phrases that are, you know, tricky, foreign. That's it, really. Just call me tricky and foreign.
Yeah, I'm making out of all the actors that are tricky and
foreign. It's all the same to me.
We were thinking more about structure and how the show needs to fit together. If we get this show right, then actually what we have is a constant bounce between the macro and the micro.
Dehumanise characters on paper. Everyone is a person. No one can be a monster in this story.
I think accent is a way of othering. This is a show against othering. Actually, if this is anything at all, this is a show against othering.
They're hoping that he will go out of business before they have to give him a new shop. And he was saying to us, well, I was hoping to wrap up my business and give it to my son.
Yeah.
Now I have to start again.
Or overstay her welcome
Yeah.
by an hour.
Yeah.
Or if she sends in an application and it gets rejected, that is it done for them.
Is it good?
No. No.
It's been...
I've really...
It's going to be...
It's not the same
without you.
I wish...
I'm trying.
I know.
If I could.
I know.
It takes time.
How much?
I don't know.
I'd missed you.
Me too.
It's never long enough.
Long enough. It's a subject that I feel really affected by. Sorry.
Don't be sorry.
You can project your story onto it, that's what's interesting. And the intimacy of the camera is really cool, even though we're in the theatrical space.
It really kind of creates a real diamond edge to it, I think.
You're performing in a theatre and you're performing for a camera.
Yes.
Once you've packed and you're ready and the bags are there, you're already in transit, even if you're still at home.
There's something about the specifics of this relationship that's contributing to it needing to be over.
Is it good? No.
One person at a time, moving, and then you can start to blur the edges.
I think in terms of transitions, I would say that your gut is absolutely right. You could just peel people away until you're left with one person and they start the next scene. So a group. And then occasionally I would see a human being through how they emerge through the movement.
It's about the relationship between the stage reality and the video reality, and both those realities coexist.
In the jungle, there's that massive thing of no photo, no photo. They don't ever want to be documented in a country that's not their destination. Is there something in playing that same game by avoiding
this time it's about avoiding the light, searchlight rather than... Interesting.
Yeah.
Really interesting. We're about to do our first connected rehearsal. It's the first scene of the show and it's the first connected call between us here in London and the companies in Munich and Athens. If I'm honest, I have literally no idea if this is going to work.
Would we not rather have this talking directly to that so we can mute that?
You're the wrong way up.
I wonder why I'm the wrong way up.
Can't really hear it. The call keeps dropping and we're upside down. Apart from that,
All systems go. If this happens in the show, this has only taken me about 6 minutes to reconnect. Tom? Yeah. Everyone, come here.
Hi guys. Yes.
Here they come. Hey.
Hey, where were you?
We lost ourselves for a moment.
Shall we try it for 5 minutes? Sitting and standing. We have a problem with the sound from London. There's an echo.
It's like I've never watched any Greek drama.
It's fucking interrupted all the time. Don't say fucking.
We totally Brexited.
The connection seems pretty reasonable at the moment. I suggest we do what we are here to do, namely start out with Charlize.
Everything's fine. What about you?
We cannot exclude something.
Guys, sorry. Just don't have pork. Hello.
Tom, can you hear me?
No, that's no.
Huge echo from Athens. And the echo's gone from this end. Ah! All these little things that we're disconnecting about, that everyone is arguing about. I'd just be interested to see what happens if we make that tension between the three sets stronger.
It will never end. It's
We are not Muslims ourselves, we're giving a gala for Muslims.
When the call's about to come in, the tense and super stressful.
If me and you
Sorry, stop a second.
When will we have the blankets?
Can I turn it off and turn it on again in time old-fashioned? Marilia, just see if you can hear yourself in the echo.
Hello, can you hear?
What do we do when the connection goes down and actually we lose connection with Athens and the Germans are all getting naked and we're just all kind of like, I think let's let that level of tension go really high for everybody and whatever happens, stay in the scene.
You have to go on. Whatever happens, you have to go
Oh God. Please can just get the blankets and move on, please. Let's talk about the menu. Sausage.
White stuffed leaves and tzatziki.
Mmm.
This is actually a suggestion. Come on, no. It's naked. But we don't know what he's thinking or why he's naked.
Now it's quite clear. That was ironic.
And they still can't hear us, so we're pretty sure it must be an issue on their end.
Ξεκάθαρα από την αρχή δεν μας είχε ζητηθεί να έχουμε το τελικό. Ποιο ρε Μαρία, να έχουμε σύνδεση με εκείνο. Έχουμε σύνδεση με εκείνο. Όχι, έχουμε μόνο από τον έγραφο. Ότι και εκείνοι δεν θα έχουν τις ίδιες συνθήκες. Μέχρι τη στιγμή που θα έχουμε και οι τρεις τις ίδιες ακριβώς συνθήκες, μικρόφωνα, ηχεία, κάμερες, ακριβώς τα ίδια, ποτέ δεν θα ξέρεις αν αυτό θα κάνει. Κάθε μέρα που τρώμε μία ώρα για να κάνουμε αυτό. Όχι, μα είχα καταλάβει το λάθος, δεν είχα ενημερωθεί σωστά. Εγώ νόμιζα ότι οι πρόβες γίνονται καταρχήν για να στηθούν οι σκηνές σκηνοθετικές. Αυτό το κάνουμε γιατί εξυπηρετούνται οι άλλοι. Ναι. Αφού λοιπόν μόνο έτσι μπορούμε να κάνουμε, θα προσαρμοστούμε. Άρα χρειαζόμαστε δύο λάθη.
You are exotic. I tell you the story you want, it's probably wrong. I'm just making this up as I go along. To give you your fix of exotic.
For 33 years.
They look as though they are from across the border.
Rochi carries these things.
The stranger takes his seat. Before the line was drawn, the husband was raised to talk to
And my
everyone.
mum's been deported. Well,
he offers the stranger
she can't
a
come
cigarette.
back for now. Which is great for their relationship. Home now is...
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome!
Well, it is a slight microcosm of what we're doing. We're trying to do something about it. We haven't rescued a single refugee. We haven't even given a single blanket to a refugee.
The people who put together the Berlin Gala were decent-minded people who wanted to promote solidarity with refugees.
It might negate a lot of the more truthful stuff that's come.
Why is the other stuff more truthful?
Home and the concept of leaving home and the concept of being a refugee without a home. This truth is a comment on that truth, rather than being part of that truth.
But then, by that logic, so our village, Yenf, help, isn't the scene itself, it's the conversation that everyone will have afterwards.
It really is important for us to decide how we play the scene and how we keep all of these things in mind. Actually, this is representative of us.
We should be thinking about the fact that there are people drowning in the fucking ocean. everybody should, you know, all of that, I totally second.
Mm.
I just don't second it in those words.
And in the background there's a photograph of the gala, which really happened. Would that be doing the two things that we wanted to do? Hashtag I am refugee, hashtag Golden Gala.
We would like to thank our sponsors, our volunteers, our guests, and you, our audience that are watching us on televisions throughout Europe and through live streaming all around the world.
Right now, there are 21.3 million refugees worldwide.
We started a little later than we did. We would be ready for you, as a matter of fact, but we haven't talked to Philip yet. So now he's called.
No, that's not Philip.
Can't see Philip. This is someone I've never met in my life before.
I think I got the wrong number. And oh, by the way, what was this? A door? I suppose that was a serious suggestion, wasn't it?
Oh, all of our suggestions are serious.
You're exaggerating grossly. Whatever.
Has everyone else got the Skype theme music running through their brain?
If we make a piece which goes, this is a show about refugees, it doesn't feel like we're achieving our purpose.
And how are we connected to home? In memory, in history, in conversations and relationships, we can sort of pull on a thread for each one of those things and then weave it together in a way where bits become richer.
And my chest.
Help me, Daphne.
What's wrong?
A truck won't stop.
My wife can't breathe.
Get yourself ready, Nazi, so that you...
The number you're
Yeah, that's
calling is
okay.
currently
It's
on
there.
the
Like we instinctively are kind of tipping into a culture where we're identifying all of our fears and problems about things as a starting point in our feedback.
Maybe what we should do is cut all the text and just have everyone make faces at each other over Skype for an hour and a half. What do you think?
Sorry, I don't understand you.
Meanwhile, James is swearing at a computer. I'm just staring dead-eyed into a Skype camera. And the rest of us are just all looking a bit confused. Oh.
Michael's back.
How are you? As well as the circumstances allow.
I think it's impossible. What we are doing.
Yes.
Because I'm afraid that we don't have the same setup and we are not following each other.
Yes.
Should we give up for today? I don't know what else to do. I'm sorry.
No, I agree.
I mean, now we actually have a connection, maybe we should go for it. And if we lose connection, we lose connection.
Little microphone, all of them.
Yes. Sorry, I've lost you there.
Me too.
So something is not working. Who is responsible, Tom, in London?
For which devices?
Sorry?
For which devices?
Of all the setup.
Mm-hmm. So it's video. If you can let me finish the sentence, thanks. It's so we have James on computers, we have Rebecca on video, we have Duncan on sound.
Duncan, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Loud and clear.
I can see both and hear both. I am very sorry.
Randomly came out.
And then they drop the call. Oh, okay, guys. So we're gonna knock it on the head.
Do you think that we have the time for experiments and hopes that we will find the perfect connection?
I think there's only one way to find that out, namely by working on the technical problems. We won't solve anything by discussing this now. Am I right?
Yes, you're right. So, what do you propose?
It's just costing us time and stress and resource.
Is it worth drawing up a series of like worst case scenarios and working through the easiest to achieve?
From our perspective, it's arbitrary.
Yes.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, it's difficult with so many components.
But we can't fix the problem because we can't identify the problem. And none of us are software engineers. We're theatre makers. Well, I'm sorry you didn't see as much connectivity as we would like you to have done. Yeah.
These are great, thank you. Yeah, we're far too many today.
This is the answer, nothing else.
These work.
It's very low now.
That's very low, yes.
A fully connected call. If I hear that sound one more time.
How do I make it be quiet?
Make it stop playing.
Are we ever going to get clarity?
So I talk into a microphone, gets picked up by their speaker, that goes into their microphone and comes back to me. You get into an ever increasingly amplified feedback loop.
What is left is me.
Yeah.
Is us.
Or whether it's a scene that we return to and come back from and return to and leave it on a cliffhanger every time.
Even if it's just a case of us having improv games in our bag of tricks.
It's got the potential to feel really complicit and generous between you as a company.
You guys as well.
I mean, my reserves for generosity in that moment will probably be quite low.
And the result was we could have a conversation. It was nothing approaching a kind of, hi Hannah, performance, theatrical level.
It might be a case of going back into the audio MIDI setup in the utilities on the laptop.
Okay. This screen is always the Athens screen, because at some point we will see Athens and Munich on this screen.
I always thought we were separating out the group calls.
And group calls can only be visible on screen 1 or screen 3, not on screen 2.
So, Jerry?
Dimensions-wise, that's a full floor.
Yeah.
Call that plan Y.
What's plan Z?
Has become quite sad. It's something that we just need to try and solve.
Yeah.
The deal is they're pre-rigging, which is why I'm not bringing
And it
anything.
will arrive in 6 pieces, which will bolt together.
Stay online. Don't you dare run this connection.
So hands off the touchpad.
I don't have a microphone, so I'm just talking through Simon right now. It's very socially awkward, this.
Can we play the same video?
Yeah. For now, we'll take it from the top of emergency call, please, everybody.
There was a man at the camp. Can you hear me?
I can't help you without police. We needed to find you.
My wife can't breathe.
I wanted to see London, to see where you lived. Like setting suns on the end of branches.
Obviously, we are doing 3 different things. It's good if we don't move around that lot. I mean, us in Germany here.
Yeah, I agree.
The close-ups, especially of Navi, this is a very impressive way of staging it and using the technology here.
Guys, we're going to need to sign off here in London, but before we do, can I just thank all of you? It's a real achievement to have got this connected rehearsal on track. More tomorrow.
Thank you.
Rather than going and then going back in, if Nadia, you pull me back in from here. So use my head. Yeah, exactly.
Athens to Munich, can you hear us? Turn off the screen.
Can you say that we're opening the cameras, or please do?
Watercress salad, miniature cream tea.
Mussels for the city lovers and lamb chops, cake for livers and foxy.
Das ist Kotzi. Excuse me, what that Kotzi?
How about everybody just does as they like?
Waves and the refugees cries for help. Awesome track, and when it finishes, the robotic lights will be switched on immediately.
Boop boop boop. Boop boop boop. Boop boop boop.
Please.
And then hashtag no one is illegal, hashtag aid, hashtag humanity, hashtag we stand.
Wait, we have to give.
Hashtag Golden Gala.
With one common goal.
Through live streaming all around the world.
James is looking very innocent over here.
Where everybody does his best, theatre soul and concerts and clap, 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 clap.
Emma, hey, it's Tom. We're going to have to ban Simon from playing all ball games of all kinds.
The big breakthrough was the 3rd instance of Skype for audio only, reduces echo.
If we feel like we've lost it, we need to acknowledge that we've lost it together.
When we have a big discussion, sometimes it feels like we're trying to, if someone's thinking about what they're about to say, someone else will come in and fill that space.
And we kept doing our best to live happily together.
We love the music. It makes us very happy over here.
We did not do what we wanted to do, namely referendum.
The Greek team are preparing their swear words for the argument.
I'm really happy with where we're getting to with this.
and connecting it all together.
Thank you. Thank you.
Phone Home is a show about people who leave home in order to find home. We're making the show at a time where there are more refugees in the world than at any point in previous human history, and where Europe is both responding to the refugee crisis but also to British exit from the European Union. And those things have really coloured the show that we're making. We're making a show that is really about everybody's individual relationship with what home is, but that we're looking at that through the prism of being artists here in the UK, artists in Greece, artists in Germany, who are at the same time really aware of what's happening all around the world in terms of people being forced to leave their home.
How much can you carry? How many languages can you call for help?
I have to call Daphne. No, you can't do this. No, Daphne! Daphne!
I'm totally into the idea of us as vessels, us as stories. Our stories can be anyone's.
Mama, did you discuss it further with Baba to leave?
As long as the fighters defend us, we have no problem. Don't worry.
How is it in Athens? Can you hear it?
No.
I love it static. So you talk for a second and you're interrupted by the sound of...
We'll go from England dialing Athens for the WhatsApp.
We are not ready yet. What you propose we should do?
I propose that we, as soon as we have mics up and running, we go for a run through of the whole show.
I have all the cues in the book.
Yeah.
That's why we're rehearsing.
Yeah.
So I'm just confused as to what he's after, really.
It's one day before the premiere. So, tell me what to do. Do you want some time just to say rates and check their cues? I'm not going to have all my actors on stage and somebody else is trying to find the right cues. So, tell us what to do. And then have a real rehearsal.
Yanis, with huge respect.
Just for once, Tom. Only for once.
Have you finished? I'm not going to stand here and be disrespected by you, Yanis. It's inappropriate.
We should be dialing them now.
So where are we? What do we do?
Dialing.
What scene are we on?
From our side, we could now start with the connected part of Charlie's One.
Great.
Hi, Mini!
Hello?
Hello! 26 for us, please.
Okay, we made it.
Excuse me, we only left 26.
Oh, it's a packet for us as a souvenir.
What the
Kotzi. Kotzi, big knuckles, pork, kotzi.
We have pork too, toad in the hole.
When should we wear the blankets? I was thinking from the beginning.
The blankets carry a very powerful message.
Yes, they show solidarity.
Yeah.
The microphones are all checked, I suppose?
Yeah.
Yes, let's connect video now. Okay, there you all are.
Bye, have a great show.
Adios.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. See you on the 789. Yeah.
Are in the European Union, or at least some of us still in the European Union. We must agree.
Yes, but we want the Kotzi.
I can take a bath in baked beans. I can work at a centre for refugee children in London. I can take a refugee into my home. I can make space for a refugee.
Different than I'd imagine.
She can hear us, I think.
Different in what way?
Have you... Did you...
We have to talk. It's been 2 years of this. Me going.
Capable person.
Yeah, I am, Mama.
He's a fighter.
Yeah, all the men that stayed in the village are fighters.
They ask us if we have lions in our backyard and shoes on our feet.
And you need links for the tapestry to flow.
Warum haben Araber nach dem Sex mit deutschen Frauen immer rote Augen?
We'll drive a boatload of refugees.
Look at them! Look at them! Look at who?
Where is your passport? If you can't go home, where will you go?
Wissen Sie nicht. Vielleicht ist es gut für ihn, dass er nach Hause kommt.
Es ist grausam und wir wollen Grausamkeiten unbedingt vermeiden. Das können Sie mir glauben.
Over. 13 refugees on board, including a child and one female needing medical...
Wait, they're running out of oxygen, so you have to call the police.
And tell them what? You encourage a boy to hide.
Dann saranno puliti, fa un po', o ti fanno ogni masticina.
They strayed into your village.
Our opinions and our pencils, and we put them in a box.
Now, somewhere in the Mediterranean, a boat is drowning.
Through live streaming all around the
The
world.
biggest charity gala ever held in Europe.
I left my lover still sleeping, curled in the warmth of our love.
I left you some money.
I left my boyfriend. I left on foot.
By car.
By train.
By plane.
By boat. By luck alone.